My name is Betty Oppenheimer. I live in Washington State in the US. Thank you, Father Knoll, for this opportunity to try to articulate my journey to faith, which has been long and slow. I grew up in a family that looked perfect from the outside, but was pretty dysfunctional on the inside. Love was inconsistent and had to be earned. We were not religious. My parents had been raised Jewish and left that faith to become secular humanists. From the age of 3 through high school, I attended Sunday school at the Ethical Culture Society in Riverdale, New York. I learned about values, ethics, civil rights, nonviolence. Our religious songs included Blowing in the Wind, This Land is Your Land, and We Shall Overcome. I will always be grateful for that foundation, but it had a built in skepticism about spirituality, and believing in the goodness of humans seemed unrealistic to me based on my personal experience. About the age of 7, I had a magical experience in a pine forest. All of my senses were firing, and I felt that I belonged to a much larger world. That memory has stayed with me always, and it's the place I go in my mind to calm myself. I grew up fiercely self sufficient and somewhat cynical, and I self medicated with alcohol. I had a series of partners who were emotionally unavailable and often angry. Eventually, I realized that I couldn't continue drinking and needed to find a different kind of partner. I ran a personal ad in the local newspaper and met Irv. He was smart and creative and loved being out in nature, and we enjoyed each other's company. Within 3 months of meeting, he said that he wouldn't pursue a relationship with me if I continued to drink. I had secretly been hoping to find someone who would help me, support me in quitting drinking, but I thought that was unlikely. Presented with the choice, I easily chose love over alcohol. We married and had a wonderful partnership. I handled the money, the planning, the organizing. He built and repaired and remodeled homes for us and for clients, and gardened and marveled at the wonder of the world. He was grounded and sometimes a bit spacey, and completely happy that way. I accomplished a lot in my career as a writer, but was a worrier and often saw the glass as half empty. We saw the world from different angles, but we supported each other's goals. And together we built a spiritual life filled with nature and pets and good food and community that might not have been possible without each other. 30 years later, he got sick, first losing cognitive function and then being diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. In my usual fashion, I focused on the medical appointments and keeping him safe. I always considered myself a capable person and had experienced many deaths in my life, so I thought I was prepared for his death. I wasn't. I came face to face with my grief. It wasn't just missing Irv, it was missing what he had done for me. I had always known what I did for him, taking care of the details, planning, finances. I was in control, but I hadn't fully realized what he did for me. He provided a lens that I hadn't learned to provide for myself. Irv had been my emotional anchor. He lived in the present and he grounded me. He saw and reminded me of the good in everyone. He softened me, and together we filled in each other's weaknesses. After more than 30 years of being a confident, capable wife, I became anxious and afraid as I had been before I quit drinking and met Irv. I didn't know who I was anymore. I was swirling in self doubt, regrets for the past, and worries about the future. I thought I was grieving. It took me a year to understand that my dilemma was more complicated than that. I had relied on Irv to temper my fears. I knew I had to make major change in order to keep moving forward. After years of avoiding prayer and meditation, I finally had to give them a try because this shift would have to take place inside me. My spirituality had always been about nature, about community, about connection, but I had never really tried to connect to a deeper reality or even considered that finding that might offer me a sense of protection and safety. Out of desperation, I finally began to peel off my layers of self-protection and perceived control and build a faith that something else, not me, was in charge, always had been and always would be. Instead of trying to control outcomes, my prayers are prayers of gratitude and setting my intentions for living a more loving life. I can't define what I'm praying to, but I found a level of freedom, calm, and safety in this new approach. As I let go of control and expectations, I began to see that the many times in my life when things I never would have imagined had happened and changed my life. Chief among those was meeting Irv exactly when I needed to and finding a life partner who completed me. I found a new level of spiritual growth, finally breaking out of my atheist background and my cynical approach to life. It has been a journey of letting go of things I never really held. I only carried the weight of them. Now I choose to allow love to flow through me, responding rather than fearing what happens in my life. Meeting Irv and experiencing his faith and trust wasn't a coincidence. It now seems like it was meant to be for both of us. I wish I had been more consciously appreciative of the amazing gifts that this sweet man had been giving me while he was alive. But today I'm so grateful that I had him in my life to show me how to accept a level of faith that now keeps me grounded. I try to honor his memory by loving what he taught me, living what he taught me about love and trust.